was going. Anyway, as I was heading down the street, I had four lovely gentlemen on the opposite side. Fascist! Fascist! And obviously they, that's her. Well, obviously, you know, they'd obviously seen me in the town.
I bet you got them told.
So I just carried on really, I'm just going to keep my head up high, you're not going to make me drop my head. And on their little bikes, you know, the crash helmet guy, taking them.
Oh, I saw him, yeah. I saw him, yeah.
Then again, there aren't many women in that gang that look like us, are there, ladies? So I'm okay because I'm on the main road and they're carrying on. And I clocked a pub, I saw a couple of guys in the pub, I thought, right, any trouble, I'll take one-on-one, but maybe two might be a bit difficult for me with my heels. So I clocked the guys in the pub and I thought, all right, I'm okay, I'm safe. Anyway, sly little devils waited for me to turn the corner and the pub was sort of further back and then they pedalled up on their bikes. But because I'm not shy, as you probably can tell, I was like, who do you think you are? You're not, you know, where are the men? I'm on my own, a woman on my own, and you're following me. You're so brave, aren't you? And they carried on, fascist, fascist. So I just shout more. Anyway, this massive guy is getting into his car and he just stops and like looks at them and they're like, okay, I'm going. So anyway, so I had a bit of fun getting here, but that's what makes me carry on coming and supporting Britain First. I won't stop because of idiots like that.
Yeah, sure.
Call me fascist. If only they knew how much it drives us all on. All that chanting didn't ruin my day, and I'm sure it didn't ruin
Cowardly lefties, that's
people
all they
were
are.
saying, you know, you're doing a good
You
job.
don't know
They were
sweet
disgusting.
effort about Islam.
Anyway, so let's get on to business. I was asked to speak today, and it took me a while deciding whether to do it because I'm really shy. And I thought, can I do it or not? But I thought, okay, but I've got nothing dynamic to say because obviously, you know, you're all well read. So I thought I would just sort of talk about what got me into going to protest. And I'd be, you know, sat at home on Facebook like we all do, and then the Muslim rape gangs kept coming up. Sort of, there was a little bit on the media, but I was doing research into it and realised how bad it was. All these young, vulnerable young girls in our community, up and down the country, being raped night after night by Muslim Pakistani men. Yes. I would never say Asian men.
No.
They are Pakistani.
Yeah. Pakistani monsters.
And it haunted me. I didn't sleep. I was driving around at work. It was on my mind. And so it should have been. It's not something you read and forget. If you actually care about people, it's going to bother you.
It is.
So I thought, right, what can I do? So I read again on Facebook that the football lads were doing a march in Birmingham. What a great place to start. Full of Muslims. Get in there. So I took myself up to Birmingham and joined sort of groups of males. Because going back a year, not many women kind of went on those big demos. So there was little old me there. And there were quite a few reporters around. And this one reporter was talking to some football lads and saying, oh, you're quite intimidating. You know, there's hardly any women around. There's one, and they pointed to me. So she started, she thought, oh, I'll have that chicken over to me. And said, why are you here? And I said, because of the Pakistani men raping the British vulnerable girls. Are you a member of any party? I went, yes, I'm a life member of Britain First. I was
Good on you.
Well, you thought I told her that, I don't know, I've been sleeping with her husband. The look on the face, and she started saying, aren't they this, aren't they that? And I turned around on her. I started interviewing her. Tell me where you got your information from. Prove it to me. And she couldn't. And so she said, I think we'll stop filming.
Well, she would, wouldn't she?
Good on you, love. Good on you, love. And then a couple of other reporters came over and said, do you mind if we film you? I said, no, I'm not. This is my first sort of demo. You know, you'll just try and trip me up. They said, no, we won't. I've just heard what you said to her. I think you're brilliant. So a couple of people started filming, and it got sort of quite cool. Liam Galvin, I think, was a reporter, and he's got quite a large following. And Katie Hopkins.
Hello, Katie.
What a lovely woman! What a brave English woman. I'm like, cheers, Katie. So that was kind of the start of it. Lots of speakers were talking, you know, about what was going on. And I just couldn't understand why people that were paid to care for these vulnerable girls were doing nothing. Now, if it was white men raping Muslim girls, it would be all over the media.
Riots in the streets.
The Muslim community would be up in arms, and quite rightly so.
Yeah.
But it would have been stopped. Now, why was it not stopped for our girls? For the Sikh girls?
Yeah.
Because they didn't need to stop.
They were too scared. Too scared of the riots.
Nobody was doing anything about it.
Too scared of being called.
I believe the girls were believed. The police did believe them.
They did.
But they had their orders from above.
Yeah.
Do not investigate. Because if you investigate that girl, you're going to have 20, 30 more coming in. So they didn't want to do anything about it.
And you go and risk your salary.
And these Muslim men chose these girls because they were the most vulnerable. These girls didn't get the family support that we've got. They didn't go to school. They were in care homes. Probably been abused by family members.
No doubt.
And when you've got people giving you gifts, saying how nice you are, you take that because you've got nothing else. Then the drugs come and then they've got you.
Yeah.
Now we're all a bit older, a bit wiser, and we've had support. But we all know nothing's for nothing, don't we?
Yeah, we
and
do.
it was payback time for those girls.
Yeah.
And they couldn't get out because nobody would take any notice of them. So that was one of my reasons why it gave me the drive to go on these marches. And in my head, I was marching for every single girl that had been raped by those girls.
That's who we're all thinking of.
The 3 boys that, in my opinion, was a terror attack. They were murdered 2 years ago.
It was. Well, we're
I
knocked
met
down.
the family. I keep in contact with one of the dads. If you don't know them, you go and look it up because I really don't want to go into it because it is
Cover up.
so awful how those 3 boys died. On
ISIS
that
cover up.
Again, by a Muslim driver and a passenger. He didn't brake. He was driving at 70 miles an hour.
Deliberate.
He knocked 2 kids over and he carried on and killed those 3 other lads. And he only stopped because he had the one lad across the windscreen and he couldn't see. And he nearly went into more kids. Now again, the investigation was an absolute disgrace.
Yeah.
And when you talk to the family, you actually know the truth of what happened that night. He ran off, and it was called death by dangerous driving. For killing 3 kids, he got 30 years.
Murder by ISIS. That's what it was.
And he's actually got it's been dropped because he appealed. And on the day of the appeal, the family was sent to a different courtroom because they didn't want them to be in the courtroom when they heard it. But all the police officers in there took their hats off as the family walked out because they were disgusted how they'd been treated. So please go, if you don't know anything about the 3 boys, we call them our boys.
Yeah,
because
our boys.
what happened to them, we've got kids of our own, that could have been anybody. That was a terror attack.
It was.
His car was his weapon.
Covered up. Covered up.
Another one.
Cowardly cover up.
Nobody's heard of. A group of women were rammed, and they said themselves, he rammed us on purpose. He's been done for texting and driving.
Yeah.
It's not a terrorist.
It all gets milked down.
Yeah. What was that, John?
Carry on, Sharon.
Thank you. So that was that. Obviously, Lee Rigby. My son's in the British Army, so that really hit home when that happened. Thank you. So we all know about Lee Rigby. We must never forget him. And basically, and then I found Britain first. I'd been a member for about a year, and I wanted to do more. When you go out sort of on protest, it's brilliant. For the first time, I sort of understood why football lads get that sort of singing, chanting, that feeling of being with thousands of people that